Hi Keith here, thanks for joining me. I hope you're good. If you've ever wondered how professional bass players play bass lines that are so deep in groove and completely in the pocket, that's exactly what I'm going to look at in this lesson. Playing groovy bass and playing in the pocket are terms that we use a lot as bass players, but what do they mean? Is it playing in time? Is it playing a super funky bass line or a rocky bass line? Or is it some other mysterious element that no one ever teaches you about? Well, in some respects, they're a little bit of an unknown quantity because playing in groove, in pocket and in time are all kind of the same thing, but they're qualities that can elude you even if you're an experienced player. Now, some bass players are just gifted and they've got great time, and some of us have to work really hard at it, but it's absolutely something that you can learn and practice. But what is groove and time? Well, it involves lots of different elements. Firstly, it involves listening and concentration, and that's often what sets professional bass players apart because they develop the ability to focus, listen in and really concentrate on the music they're playing, whereas with student and hobby players, often their focus and concentration will drift. They might be thinking about how the bass sounds, what effects they're using, if the drummer's playing in time, or any number of other things. So in this lesson, I'm going to look at what I think are the key elements to help you play bass lines that are really securely groovy and in the pocket. And it all starts with rhythm. Now, I could pick any rhythm, but I've chosen to start with a rhythm that really resonated with me when I was first learning bass, and it's this. So we've got a syncopated 16th note drum rhythm here, but I really don't want to get all technical on you. And besides that, there's a completely free PDF for this lesson. It's got all of the bass lines that I'm going to be playing notated in standard notation and tab, and all of the theory that you need to help you understand what I'm playing. You can also grab copies of the backing tracks that I'll be using too. The link to that is in the description below. Make sure you grab a copy. So let's have another listen to that rhythm. Now, the first step in playing something that's groovy and in the pocket is to play in time. That's something that I really need to focus on when I play. Now, all I'm going to do here is play a note. I'm going to play G here at the 3rd fret of the E string, and I'm going to do my best just to plant that note on top of that 16th note bass drum rhythm. Bum, t, bu bum, bum, t, bu bum. Here we go. Now, I'm not trying super hard there, but I am really focusing on the time, and I'm trying my best to be as relaxed as possible. So I'm going to do that again, and I'm going to count you in so you can have a go too. Your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you got somewhere close, but if you didn't, don't worry, it takes time and practice. Now, if you try too hard, it's really easy to push, and pushing isn't a great feel, particularly if you want to play something that's groovy and sits in the pocket and is really comfortably in time. So what I often try and do is be the opposite of pushing. I'll try and relax, so play a little bit further back rather than push the beat. I'll play behind, and I'll often just physically lean back. I don't know if it does any good, but I'm going to try that same thing now, and I'm going to give you a go too. Your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that can be tough, but I hope you enjoyed it. Now we've got the help of the drums here, and I know the bass and drums share a really important partnership of rhythm, groove and time. But what I'm going to do now is remove that little 16th note skip from the drums. So rather than have the drums go boom, 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 cha, boom, boom, I'm going to straighten out the drums. So the drums are just going to go boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha. But I'm going to do my best to keep that little 16th note kicking and also try and keep the groove going. And I'm going to give you a go. So here we go. Your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all good and well, but most songs are played over chord progression. So this time I'm going to add some notes that correspond to the chords that I'm going to be adding in just a minute. But whilst I'm doing this, I'm going to try and maintain the rhythm that we've established, because that's the groove and the pocket that we want to play in. Got G to B to C and D. So I'm just trying to keep the rhythm and play the root notes of each chord. Join in. 2, 3, 4. One more time. And this next time I'm going to introduce some chords so you get a chance to really hear what the bass line sounds like. Here we go. Now we've got some context. We're playing our rhythm and groove. We're playing in time. It's nice and relaxed. But now we're playing a piece of music. You can really hear how the bass line is sitting. Join in. We're not trying to be fancy though. So this is the next stage of playing a groove and playing in the pocket, being able to play a rhythm, playing it in time, but following the harmony, following the chords by playing root notes, because every single bass line uses root notes and rhythm, because that's the primary function of the bass. There isn't a bass line that I can think of where the bass player isn't playing root notes and rhythm, and that's the first thing that every professional bass player aims for, whether they're playing a recording session or doing a live performance. It's playing root notes with some rhythm. And once you've got that foundation, it's easy to add to it and play things that are going to enhance your lines. But if you don't have the fundamental rhythm and you're not following the harmony of the chords, then things can fall apart really quickly. But moving on, now I'm going to connect the chords. So we've got a little bit of movement in the bass line. I'm maintaining the rhythm and I'm playing the root notes of the chords, but just adding a few notes to lead into each chord. So from the G, just just adding an A before we get to B. Now this is in the key of G major, so I'm just playing up the G major scale. G, rhythm, into B, into the C. I'm playing G, the fifth below. The fifth's always going to work going into the root note. And then finally, this little 3-note chromatic approach into D. So playing lots of different elements there. But just require a little bit of discipline and careful listening to maintain. But this time I'm going to play some fills and some more collecting lines. Don't forget, everything that I'm playing is in the PDF, so if you haven't already grabbed that, make sure you grab a copy. This time I played a few different things. The first thing that I did on the B was I played an octave, but I maintained this 16th note rhythm. So we played G, A, B, so played the octave but kept that 16th note rhythm. And on the C, played a major pentatonic scale, and this is good enough reason to remind you that if you're practicing scales and arpeggios, make sure you play them descending as well as ascending, because that was just a C major pentatonic scale in reverse. Now I was playing some offbeat rhythms, and you've got to be really careful because it's very easy to rush. And rushing can really mean that you get out of shape, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we sometimes fail to pull things off, because we try too hard, we get anxious, we get tense, and then everything goes to pot. I also played some pentatonic fills, so the second time round I played this little pentatonic line using this G major pentatonic scale. I've done a ton of lessons on pentatonic scales. I'll post some links in the description below. And actually, my most recent lesson was using this major pentatonic box shape and showing you just how easy it can be to create great sounding bass riffs. So if you've got any energy after watching this lesson, please feel free to check it out. So we've got this major pentatonic fill. Little C major pentatonic fill too. Now I'm not suggesting that this is the finest bass line that you've ever heard, but let's take a look at what we've got. We've got a rhythm that we're keeping intact. We're playing the root notes of the chords, so musically we've got a bass line that works. We've got some nice connecting lines, and we've also got some fills, so it's a bass line that's got quite a bit of interest. But it is a modest line, but it works. It would be really easy to stamp all over this and play something really busy, and you may well play songs where you're required to do that, but for me, I prefer to play a little bit more cautiously and relaxed, because this is a little bit overkill. So as much as that was fun to play, I'm not sure that if I played that in a session that I wouldn't get fired, because it was a little bit too much. And that's the other thing about professional bass players. They play for the music. Now, getting that balance between playing something that fits the music and also feeding your soul so you play something that you like and you find musical is a really fine line to tread. Now I'm going to add a tune to what we've got. So we've got a bass line, we've got some chords, we've got connecting lines, we've got some fills. But I think with the addition of this tune, it might just impact what we play rhythmically and also some of the fills that we play too. Let's have a listen. So now I feel like the bass and the tune are in conversation. The introduction of the tune, I think the bass line's taken a completely different form. That didn't work. I very much felt that the bass was in conversation with the tune there, and I was hunting for the gaps in the tune to allow me to play the fills. Now I started off by playing the 16th note rhythm, and I kept that intact throughout because I didn't really want to move away from it and play any fills, because when I did, certainly when I played this offbeat major pentatonic fill, that certainly didn't work. So I changed what I was playing and I took some liberties. I actually changed the rhythm halfway through to this. Now that's a rhythm similar to something that you might play on a pop or a rock song. It's certainly far less funky, and it's what I would call a little bit more straight because it's an 8th note rhythm, but that alone changed the groove and the pocket, and it certainly influenced the fills and the connecting lines that I played. So I'm going to play through this again now, but using this new rhythm. So you might want to have the PDF printed out in front of you. I'm going to do my best to chalk and talk, so I'm going to do my best to explain exactly what I'm playing as I go along, or I'm going to try at least. So here goes. I'm going to play through this again now, but with that new rhythm. Now you might want to have the PDF printed out in front of you because I'm going to be playing lots of different things, and I'm going to be playing using the whole range of the bass too. And I'm going to do my best to chalk and talk, as they say, so I'm going to try and explain things as I'm playing them. I'll do my best to anyway. So here goes. Just playing rhythm, no fills. Just really listening. Listening for the gaps between the tune. I'm going to try and play some connecting lines. Really subtle though. answering phrases are between the tune. It's quite tiring, this, because I'm really focusing on the time. Play the notes in some different places. Going up the E string to B, 7th fret, C at the 8th, D string, change the rhythm now again. More of a disco stomp. Funk rhythm again. Playing rhythmically strong bass lines that are deep in the pocket, in time, and that make songs work in a really groovy way, and then making good note choice is what playing great bass lines is all about. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.